What's up, guys? Today we're gonna actually start creating our splash activity to make it actually functional. So we're just gonna delete all of this stuff within our main class, and we're just gonna start from scratch. Basically, first I want to teach you about what an activity needs to hold for Android application, or pretty much this is basic programming fundamentals. This is what our activity is gonna look like. We need our activity to hold all these functions or methods, and basically this is what happens when we call the activity to start. So our Android manifest calls our activity to start, and then it says on create, and we have our set content view in there, so it lays our background, and then it's going to set up some other stuff that our program might need, and then this will be on resume, and this is when our program's actually running. And basically this is pretty self-explanatory. It might seem complicated at first, but after you look at it for a little bit, you'll kind of understand what's going on. So if our activity starts running, if our activity calls another activity to start in front of it, the first activity will go on pause, so it won't actually be running anymore. And then when we go back to that first activity, it's going to run through the resume function and start the activity running again. If the activity is no longer visible, it will again go kind of on a pause, but it's called stop, and then we'll restart when we go back to the activity, or it comes to the foreground as it says here. It will do our start method, go to resume, and then start running the application again. Finally, we go down here where we want to destroy our activity. It's just going to shut down, or if it's on pause and another application needs enough memory, it's going to kill it and just restart. So that's the basic layout that we need for our activity. And so we're going to reference this. I'll put the link up here. It's just again on the developerandroid.com, but I'm going to put the link in the description below. Just kind of down the line and get our application running in this format for the splash screen. So what we want our splash screen to do is we want it to run for 5 seconds and then basically open up the main menu and then kill itself, so we don't use a ton of memory. So that's going to be the layout of our splash screen. And in order to do that, we're going to start going into the Java code, which we just deleted everything. And again, if you remember, we just need to go on create. So we're going to set up that function, even though we had it earlier. An easier way to get the code written out correctly without remembering everything, you just right click and you go down to source right here, and we want to go to implemented methods. And again, implemented methods is going to be from our activity class that we extended, the superclass called activity. So we're going to have to override it, and then we're going to want to find just on create. So I just typed on and it went down here. Bundle, that's what we're looking for. And the parameters takes a bundle like I mentioned in the previous video, and you can name that whatever you want. It just says saved instant state, and again it's right here. So set the content view here. This will pull up the XML. So we're going to go to set content view, and then again we want to reference it by typing, instead of the @ symbol like we did in XML, it's going to be r.layout.splash. And so that will pull, that's just a start to our application. Basically, if we didn't delete anything from just previously, this is what it will look like. So we just want to save our project. Okay, so we started our onCreate. There's going to be more that I'm going to put in the onCreate method, but we're going to just kind of get the layout going for this setup right here. So we're going to also do on resume, on pause, on stop, and on destroy. So I'm just going to put those in real quick. You can create more than just one at a time. So I'm just going to search for all these on resume, on destroy, on stop. So these are kind of the different methods that we can work through later and just add to. as we choose. But we're going to work on this create, because basically this is just going to show our screen forever. But what we're going to want to do is on create, we're going to set up a timer, and once that timer runs out, then we're going to call up the new activity that we want, that will show our menu. So it's going to destroy this one and create the menu activity. First, create a new activity. So right click, go new, and we'll again go, this is called a class to set up an activity. So we're going to do new class, and we're going to go my menu, and it's public, and we're just going to hit finish. So again, this is Java, and it still is from our package up here. And for this activity, we're going to have to create a thread. And basically what a thread is, you can have multiple things going on at the same time, instead of just being like, do this, and then after you get done doing that, do this. For example, this is kind of a thread. I'm listening to music on Pandora, but when I go to this tab, it's still playing. Or when I go to this program, I'm still listening to music right now. I mean, basically threads are super important for game development and a lot of different types of programming. So we're going to set that up in our onCreate method. What we need to do is we need to establish what the thread variable is going to be. Or we do this just like our last tutorial. So we're going to type thread, which is what it is, and we're going to a timer of some sort, because this will be basically our timer for the splash screen. So we're just going to go logo timer, and this will be our timer for our logo or our splash screen. We're going to set it to new thread. Okay, so now we set up our new thread, but we didn't really define it as anything yet. Usually we define like an integer as a number right here, but we want to set this up ourselves. It's not just a number, it's just going to be our own little function that we want to set up. So we're going to hit, we're going to make a new bracket, and we're going to close this bracket off with a semicolon. That'll just say that this is closing off this thread that we're creating. And so what we want this thread to do is we want to have it run. Within the thread, we're going to have a run method going. So we're going to set up public void run. And again, I'll explain the public void and stuff later. That's kind of Java jargon right there, but we're going to set up a new bracket in a run method. And basically, the run is going to take 3 different brackets. There's going to be a try, and we're going to set up that bracket. And then we go outside of our try bracket, and it'll catch. This will be our catch bracket. And also we want to set up a finally. And basically what's going to happen is we're going to try doing this. Our run method is going to try doing this. We're going to set up a loop, our actual timer, and then after that timer runs out, we're going to start up our new activity. If there's any errors or it's not running at a normal flow of speeds, it's going to catch those exceptions, and it's going to put it into a log of some sort. Finally, after all that's been done, we're going to just finish the program. Or we're going to finish the activity. And you do that just with the finish command. And this, again, is a method. It will just finish this class. This whole class, my main. So it'll just shut it down. So after we run through our timer and everything, it'll shut this down.